Crusades. Almost forgot what I was doing. Part 2 of the series. Today I'm just going to share some covers with you, some album covers that I find amusing. But first, I noticed another video I made the other day. I pointed at the wrong vinyl zombie button, so I moved the button up front right there. My hour of studying inlet and outlet sizes. Is this right? No, it's not right. Yeah. In another hour of research, I found out that they make adapters. So I have 2 adapters on the way now. Oh yeah, that's right. I had some cards printed up for the gallery deal, the video deal, the video I posted yesterday. Some of my artwork on it, and if anybody wants a pile of cards, I'm going to send Tink a pile, and anybody else to just message me. Is it over there or over there? I can never remember which. LP covers today. Well, I have a few records. The music is not. I can't feature any of the music because it's just not up to my standards. This is all the process of what I don't know, and it's my opinion, so you know, bear with me. First cover is by an artist, local artist. I'll put this on the screen. Gary Gieser, In the Garden, and it was local, so I bought it. But what I find amusing is that he looks very uncomfortable. He looks very uncomfortable bent over this. Like, this is the best photograph they had. That's what I don't understand. At least you could take a lot of photographs and pick a good photograph. And why is it that at least in 50% of all religious LPs of this vintage are the artist wearing white shoes? I don't understand that. I do want a pair of white shoes, by the way. The other thing I noticed, and this is all limited, but that's interesting that my exposure's been limited, so I have a limited amount, but is the typeface is like in this, and I can't tell, it's probably 70s, I'm pretty sure it has. 74, okay. But they use this dated leftover psychedelic typeface on many of these LPs that I have. That you know, late in the 70s, you know, typefaces were moving into more of a streamlined feel and getting far away. We're probably at that point far away from this type of feel. So, and they wouldn't have used this in the 60s because it would have been really linked to rock, you know, and which was, these guys would have would have been shied away from if nothing else. Okay, so that's very interesting. But another thing that happened was I'm holding my little stack of records on the way out of the Goodwill store, waiting in line, you know, to pay for them. And this one's on top, and the guy in front of me turns around, looks at me, looks at this, and says, "I know that guy. I've got one of his records." It's like, oh. He goes, "Yeah, he's still apparently still singing at a local church. Still lives in the area and singing." And he looked at me, and I knew he was, you know, waiting for me to say, "Well, I know him," or I've. But for me, it was just, I wanted to say, look at this typeface and those white shoes, can you believe it? Now, these folks are also local. They're from London, Kentucky. They're called the London Christianaires. And they're also quite competent. In fact, I enjoyed listening to this LP. I bought it because of the cover. Again, look, that typeface is a leftover 60s psychedelic typeface. It's wonderful, the color, how they created this sort of purple and green color to everything when they processed this. When they ran the print job, I assumed the color shifted when they ran the print job. It wasn't supposed to look like this. This one struck my eye. It attracted me to this particular record over the others, and the covers were pretty good, but this one had sort of like a 70s Star Wars space child look to it, like the slanted type, you know, which is definitely 70s. But why did they put this photograph of this kid in front of a tree like that? It just blows my mind. It's a very unusual, and even the word stereo is multicolored. It's a wonderful cover. I really enjoy it. But again, the singing, the production, everything's competent, and there's nothing to be said for it. Now, another local record is this one, made by the Russell family, and right next door to me in Covington. Again, it's a title, Here We Are, which is interesting because, you know, again, I've talked about this before. You know, these private pressings, these folks work up a whole lot of energy and invest their own money into creating a product. So there's a lot of peak. It's like you're peaking, and the titles are always something like "This Is My Life," like Johnny Prophet, "This Is My Life," "It's About Time," Becky Ryan, or "Here We Are." You know, it's the first and probably only LP they. The photograph. They take them outside in the middle of winter, and there's this poor woman standing here with snow on her shoes. It's backlit. The sun's kind of like coming from the back to one side, and it's just all blue and cold. It's horrible. Here you are selling hope. You're preaching and selling. In your songs. You're selling. Your version of salvation and hope. And this is what you got: a freezing cold picture where you all look, kind of cold, like movie madcap typeface rather than like psychedelic typeface. But definitely the splashiness is kind of poorly done. But what I loved about it is what these folks are wearing. Again, white shoes and printed suits, and they look lovely. I think they look lovely. Look at that. Have you been looking at it over here? Well, I've been yapping. Look at that. Oh, man. It's wonderful. The colorful Lewis family. Well, apparently they're just sort of monochromatic on the cover. Not so colorful. And they're also beautiful. And here, again, like the worst place you should ever have a photograph taken is in a hotel lobby, which many of them apparently are. They just happen to have shirts and dresses on that match the wallpaper, and then they tweaked it in the printing process, more likely than not, to get this sort of overall pink look. But it's wonderful 70s. They talk about one track that they like in here, so I listened to that, and that's actually pretty good. So I'm going to try to squeeze that in if I could edit all my babbling down to the point where I can squeeze this in. And so there you go. There's just there's my Magical Crusades, musical crusading Manic.
Some people go to school trying to learn how to teach, and some go to school trying to learn how to preach. If you can't preach after going to school, you ain't no preacher, you're an educated fool, and that's all. And that's all. You got to change your way of living for the good Lord say, that's all. People come from monkeys, some folks say, but the good book don't quite tell it that way. But if you believe that little monkey tell it true, I'd rather be the monkey brother than you, and that's all. And that's all. You better change your way of living for the good Lord say, that's all. He's a miser man. He's trying to save all the money he can, but when the old undertaker lowers him down, where's he gonna spend that money? Under the ground, and that's all. And that's all. You better change your way of living for the good Lord say, that's all. My little song is finished, my little song is through. I didn't necessarily mean to sing this song to you, but if you don't like the way the little song goes, it's a mighty good sign I've been a-stepping on your toes, and that's all. And that's all. You got to change your way of living for the good Lord say, that's all. And that's all.